talk about the Democrats. As we know, they are all over the place, and there's this bizarre trend on social media where Liberals are posting these model shot images of Gavin Newsom from high school and comparing them to images of JD Vance in high school. And I think it's absolutely backfiring. We know JD Vance's story is incredibly inspiring. Growing up in a working class family, had a mother that was battling with addiction, and JD Vance went on to serve in the Marines and become the second most powerful man in the United States. He's incredible. And Gavin Newsom, I mean, he's just absolutely destroying California. He's so desperate to be president in 2028. We'll see how that goes for him. But what do you make of this social media trend? I think it's backfiring. What are your thoughts? It seems a little bit desperate to me.
I completely agree, but it's nice to see that Democrats have finally learned how to meme 10 years after the phenomenon firmly started. But the truth is that you're completely right. It's just drawing attention to these two men's stories, one of whom is much more impressive than the other. Now, Gavin Newsom isn't even particularly popular with his own party. As you mentioned, what's going on in California really is quite disastrous. Energy prices are skyrocketing, out-migration's at all-time highs, homelessness is still a major problem. So Democrats do need a new leader, but they absolutely should not be looking in Gavin Newsom's direction. That is the last thing the party wants. And I dread to think what kind of character they'll be having as vice president if they do select a white male president like Newsom. We'll have to see.
Well, you've written about the Democrats. You've written that the return of the left centrists lack conviction and resolve. Completely agree. You said the Democrats promised a sober reset after Donald Trump's win. Instead, they're losing ground to a new wave of socialists. Of course, back in November, moderates promised this sober reset, a return to pragmatism, competence and electability, but they have since been out-organised and out-communicated, and it's clear that the centre isn't holding and the left is on the march. Now, it's interesting when you're looking at radicals, it doesn't really get any more radical than New York City mayor candidates around Mamdani. But he's now reportedly watering down some of his radicalism. He's obviously, been promising free buses, frozen rents, but he's walked back his previous claims to defund the police. And he's spent the last couple of weeks courting business leaders and carefully calibrating his position. So I suppose there are questions around whether Mamdani will try to move to the centre. Do you suspect that's what we're going to see?
This is absolutely what we're going to see. I mean, the context is that he is in a very crowded field, but it's a very uncompetitive field because his rivals, Andrew Cuomo, Eric Adams, and Curtis Lewa, are all deeply flawed candidates, and that is benefiting Zora Mamdani. The same anti-establishment energy that propelled Trump to the presidency could well be fueling Mamdani in the opposite direction. That is what's so interesting about this race. Now, do I think this pivot to the center is sincere? Well, a lot of people are arguing that this is actually some kind of wokeness and sheep's clothing, and I think there is a lot of evidence pointing to that. The separate question is exactly what he plans to do when he gets into office, and that is the million-dollar question. But what I would say is that there is a more than likely chance that he is going to be New York's next best mayor.
Yeah.
And until centrist and moderate Democrats get their act together and figure out a manifesto to actually challenge Mamdani, then these ideas will go completely unchallenged. And that's what's happening at the moment.
Absolutely. Newsroom editor at Unheard, James Billow, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.